observational capability, but we need to improve on the observational capability. I don't go into the flowchart at this moment. The new challenges that are coming in front are on account of the large constellations. I think this was not a case in the past when much before the Elon Musk came in and started launching his Starlink satellites, where 5,000 of them are launched and new constellations are going to come up. And we can't stop it because space is for everybody and new applications come and it actually improves our access to space and new applications do come in. But you look at the number of satellites that are getting launched. They are in thousands and they are not in orbits that are in a low orbit. And if you really look at using an optical telescope which used to watch planets, now you will see a lot of light streaks because hundreds of them pass through that and many of the Earth-based observations becomes very extremely difficult. And it becomes too crowded. Even to make a launch to a satellite rocket to pass through, it becomes very, very difficult and it becomes really crowded. And it's only going to increase. The type of predictions that we are happening is also in the future, number of satellites that are going to be launched into the constellations are also going to increase. So we have a terminology called dark and quiet sky. And this is becoming a very important topic of discussion in international domain. How to create dark and quiet sky to enable Earth-based observations. So there are discussions happening how to control the number of low Earth orbiting satellites and also the issues related to interferences related to frequency and its management and its interferences with the various observations like radio astronomy. So this becomes a very important topic of international engagement and discussion. Of course, very important topic is the space cyber security. When you talk about space situational awareness, you can't avoid this. And this comes in the form of unauthorized access to some of the assets that we have in various phases of operation. And also potential jamming, spoofing, interception of communication all becomes very important. And we need to protect against all of this, which includes how do we implement protective measures and how do we maintain vigilance over various activities that are taking place. How do you really encrypt the communication infrastructure, key change, physical diversity to protect against in case of situations. Similarly, identification of vulnerabilities in various forms, which includes terrestrial networks, intrusion into the ground infrastructure of commanding, and also identify threats and then recover in case of any such actions are taken. So we need to create a proper cyber critical space management, crisis management plan to protect against many of the activities in space while we work on space situational awareness. A new terminology where we discuss these topics is called long-term sustainability of outer space activities. These are being discussed in various international fora. LTS is a very topic which is discussing in UN COPOS, where India is also elected as the chair of the working group on long-term sustainability outer space for last 2 years. They will continue to be the chair for next 2 years also, where we look at how to discuss the space to become a safe place for all of us to work together. So this is a major topic and many contributions are done from Indian side. Another important activity that we have taken up is to make a debris-free space mission as a declaration. And this has been declared in the last 42nd IADC meeting. And we made sure that this topic is taken up by every nation as an important commitment so that we don't actually really clutter the space and we take actions. When a satellite becomes defunct, we will be voluntarily deorbiting it. We will make sure the satellites do not explode. And all the upper stages of orbits of the rockets after launching will be depressurized or deactivated from active elements so that it doesn't contaminate in terms of creation of more debris. So it is more of a self-disciplined governance on how to minimize the threat on account of various activities. So this is one of the DFS is a terminology that we have coined, and this we would like to many nations to adopt, and we have put it in front of most of the international fora. And this is the type of infrastructure that we have today. I already described, so I will not explain further. I'll tell you, we need huge infrastructure. I'll tell you one example of a study that is run recently. I'll come back to a little later. The current requirements are that we need to have monitoring of most of the overflighting satellites. We need to have line of sight visibility for most of the activities that are taking place, and also to create a constant vigilance and surveillance, creating advanced sensor arrays, autonomous on-orbit detection and collision avoidance maneuvers, which has to be autonomous, not the current approaches. Intentional maneuver detection is very important because some of the satellites do move. We have indicated that there are some suspicious movements taking place to look at observations, and also to create AI-based techniques for predicting intentional maneuvers and then suspicious close approaches. So this becomes very important development task that we have initiated within the organization. One study we have done is, if you have to really look at space domain awareness, we need huge amount of observational capability, not only in India but also across the world. They could be in the form of radars, optical observation capability, as well as other forms of observational capabilities. This includes not only the space but lower orbit detection capabilities as well. So, of course, this is one type of study. There could be other models which could be done by other agencies as well. So I don't go into details of this. Right now, the challenges and way forward is to create capabilities in this domain. I think I have made the statement of the problem very well, but then the right of strength that we have is more in terms of its prediction capability, modeling capability is extremely good with us. But what we lack today is the observational capability, which need to be built over a period of time. So the network of radars and optical observation capabilities are to be developed, and optical seems to be one of the very good capability that we ourselves have, and we need to create more of them in the coming days because it is low cost and more autonomous in terms of capability. But then the challenge of tracking low Earth orbit, which are much more faster, low resident time objects to track, becomes a challenge. I believe this technological challenge will be overcome in the days to come. And we need to put hundreds of them across country and across the world to really create a coordinated observations and sharing the data to help us to strengthen this domain. But there are many challenges. I think these challenges are well known. I have already discussed. Now, not only this, I think new constellations are also coming up. I mentioned about the communication constellations and other Earth observation constellations, but new constellations are currently in discussion. One of them is the automatic dependent surveillance type of constellations, where we need to look at aircraft movement, ship movement, and many others. People are discussing building large constellations. Similarly, we are looking at constellations to look at various other Earth-based observations, and number of satellites in these constellations could be at various levels and orbits. So we will see in the coming days not just communication, Earth observation constellation, but there are other forms of constellations. And sometimes you will also see that integration of Earth observation as well as PNT combining together in certain number of constellations and number of satellites are really going to increase. So this is going to be the special challenge and applications. And equally important is to look at how we can manage this debris. I think debris are a reality. People discuss how you can bring back the debris, some of the defunct satellites, and collect them, bring back, reprocess them, sometimes reprocess them at the space. All these are topic of discussion that are happening, but many of them don't have solutions right away, and it is mostly driven by the fact that it is not cost effective at this moment. But we should not shy away from creating technologies for collecting them, reprocessing them, refueling them, or even deorbiting them. And many companies world over are working on such technologies and capabilities. And in ISRO also we are working on similar technologies. And one of them is going to be launched in the next month. It is called the SpaceX. This mission is looking at how to dock with another satellite and connect a propulsive device so that